Praise the name of our living God. I'm Brenda Kaunda, an evangelist and a teacher of the Word of God. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel, for liking, share, and I promise you that today we'll come again and do a certain type of uh, topic, that is progression of sin. I thought about how sins are being conceived and how they're being birthed and how it leads to death. And now today, it's progression of sin, how sin progresses until it destroys that person completely. And it has destroyed many. And sin alienates us from our Father. It gives us a barrier in between. And so I try so much to avoid sin at all costs in my life. I regret doing so many things when I was in sin, but something I can never regret is salvation. Getting salvation and getting delivered, I can never I can never regret getting salvation. I can never apologize to anyone for following Christ. That is something that I cannot do and I will never do. I am so focused on Jesus Christ. So I let go of so many things in my life. And when I let go, I caused a lot of friction between me and people who are close to me, people who are so close to my heart. And when I started this journey, I lost I encountered friction between so many people who are close to me, because I used to think that anyone who is going to church, we are just in the same spirit. Anyone who says Bwana Yesu asifiwe, we are just in the same spirit. But I came to realize, when I just waged war against Satan, so many people, I lost them along the way. And maybe from this video, they can listen to this message so that we can help and sharpen each other, so that they may get on track again and we move in the same direction. And so Christ took me from the trenches. This is a man who took me from the trenches and clothed and fed me. So if he went that overboard to do this for me, how can I get ashamed of this man? I was not so good in the social media digital space. I was not good. I was not even putting any focus on my digital media spaces to do such kind of teaching. But when Christ instructed me to do this, I had to do it. This is a man who took me from the trenches. So can I deny this man so that I have good friends, so that I have very good kind of relationship with men? No. Even if it causes friction, that trench that I was in, it was very dirty. It was very deep and very bad. So I am so grateful that I got salvation, because in Second Corinthians chapter 6 verses 17, the Bible is telling me to come out amongst them and be separate. Some people who are even doing divination. Along my videos, I will just give you 1, 2, 3 stories to relate with. People who are very deep in sorcery. I decided to come out amongst the rest. The Bible never told me to fit in their lives, but to come out, be separate. So I had to do according to how God wants me to do. And so when I talk about the progression of sin, this is according to Proverbs chapter 7. Let's start from verse 4, verse 5. They will keep you from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with the seductive words. This is how sin starts until inaenda inamaliza mtu. This is not just an adulterous woman. This sin can be even gossiping. This sin can be murder. This sin can be any sin. But Solomon is just playing like, is just giving a literal example of an adulterous woman. And so this is now, according to Proverbs 7 verses 6, at the window of my house, I looked down through the lattice. Looking down through the lattice, I saw among the simple, I noticed among them young men, and a youth who had no sense. He has spotted one youth who has no sense. When you are in sin, you are going towards the paths of sinners. You have no sense with you. It is like you are completely, the Bible in Jeremiah, sometimes back in the Bible, Jeremiah, God said to Israel and Judah, you are completely useless, like that belt that was completely useless. Now it's like this youth has no sense. When you follow sin, you have no sense. The same way when Judah and Israel were following sin, they had no, God said they are completely good for nothing. Good for nothing to mean like they have no sense. And this man who had no sense, he was going down the street near her corner. So when you go for that scene, it can be gossiping, it can be what and what and what and what. You know very well where you are going to. This scene is not looking for this man. It's this man looking for this scene. He's going towards the street near her corner. And then he's walking along the direction of her house. This man knows where he's going. Ametoka tu kwa nyumba, anaelewa ni wapi, because anajua nikishika hii barabara A, sitapatana na kenye nataka. I want barabara B, because barabara B, this woman sits there. You already know where you are going. And you know, God used very harsh words in Jeremiah when he was talking to them. And God said, Israel, it is you who go to the roadside. You go to the roadside to look for lovers. Who is that lover? Sin. It is not those lovers coming to the houses of the Israelites. It was them going to stand on the roadside like lovers. Because God was seeing like Israel was mixing God with Satan at the same time. They are in the temple in the morning, in the evening, they are on the roadside looking for sin. And that sin is what? Satan. They mix God and Satan at the same time. And that is what angered God so much in the book of Jeremiah. And so he's walking along. This man is now walking along in the direction of her house. He even knows that direction well. At twilight, as the day was fading, as the night was setting in, you see, when you walk in sin, you walk in darkness. As the day was fading, giza sasa imeingia. This man, mbona angefanya tu mambo yake mchana? Hii jioni, jua inaisha, giza tu ndio sasa ya shetani. That is where the devil loves darkness. Mambo ya giza giza. Because angeenda mapema, watu wangeona, usi ni fulani, anaenda kwa ule. So anaelewa masaa ya this adulterous woman. Wewe unajua tu vizuri. When you walk in sin, in the paths of sin, you're walking in darkness. Verse 19. As the day was fading, as the dark of the night sets in. Now the progression goes ahead. This is verse 10. Then came out a woman to meet him. If you go looking for that sin, believe you me, you will find it. Now a woman is coming to meet him. That's how sin. If you go with the mindset that you want to look for gossiping, you will find gossipers along your path. So that you go, they will position themselves so that you go and meet them. And so this woman comes to meet him. Now amekutana na dhambi ambaye alikuwa anatafuta. And this woman is dressed like a prostitute and with a crafty intent. She's unruly and defiant. Her feet never stays at home. Huyu ni ule akaangi kwa nyumba. Now in the streets and now in the squares, she is everywhere. At every corner, she lurks. And so she took hold of him and kissed him, and with a brazen face, she said, now me, according to me, if this person was really looking for sin, according to you, wewe unaona this man angekimbilia wapi a reverse situation, apotee kwa hii dhambi? Mimi hile saa alikuwa naenda down the street, kama angejifikiria tena harudi, angekuwa ameponea, because amefika mahali now this. And verse after that, verse 14, today I fulfill my vows. Now when you meet that kind of sin that you're looking for, the deal is sealed between you and Satan. It's stamped. That is now where Satan has a legal right to tell God that, you know, Satan is he comes in to challenge men in the courts of heaven. Now, verse 14, today I have fulfilled my vows. Now this person is not your wife, this person is not your husband, but now they're fulfilling their vows. Hivyo ndio watu wanakula viapo, hivyo ndio watu wanakula maagano. Immediately you go with that foreign woman, your marriage is done. You have fulfilled a vow there, and through a satanic institution, a satanic arrangement. Now when you come to your other house now, do you think things will go on with you? Well, already you had sealed an agreement there. Umeistamp, hapo utakimbia kweli. You have to reverse it, and reverse it, if you could avoid it, the better. Now, and I have food for my fellowship offering at home. When this woman says I have, it's like he had a fellowship offering at home. This woman is seducing this man like as if she's also saved, and they had also a fellowship offering. So you will think after all it's just a good thing, it's not a bad idea. So I came out to meet you, I looked for you and I have found you. Dhambi na tamani ikupate, na we unaenda kuitafuta, itakupata. I have looked for you and I have found you. That is 15. And so I covered my bed with colorful linens from Egypt. Just see how sin is enticing this man. Now, the more you stay with that sin, the more you go deeper with it. You know, coming out of it, kama ungetokea pale ambaye ikianza mwanzo ungekuwa safe. But now, this woman comes up with charms. Zinaendelea zikizidi sasa. Now that place, reversing it, kutoroka hapo ndani inakuwa ngumu. If you can get out from that sin before it has grown so big, the better. So, I have covered my bed with colored linens from Egypt. The enticement has begun. And I have perfumed my bed. The charms is getting more stronger and stronger. With myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let's drink deeply of love till morning. Let's enjoy ourselves with love. Now you see, when it says deeply, this person possibly now he is at his biggest enjoyment season. You know, when you are doing sin, there comes a time you feel now, hapa ndio ati wanasemanga hii ndio raha ya ujana yangu. Hiyo raha itafika mahali geuke kilio, na ikigeuka kilio mtu hulia sana. Hata mimi nilifanya kitu na nikafika mahali nikaanzia nduru. That is why I come to you from this channel, so that you may not follow that path, so that you may not learn a lesson the same way most of us, or me, I learned it that way. And so there is a stage in sin progression that it seems like it's so fun. You think life is all about dancing and glorifying Satan. You think life is all about abusing God. You think life is all about saying you are an atheist. You feel so good about it. You drink. You think life like it's in another angle when you are in sin. You are so comfortable. Everything is going on so well with you. Hata mtu akwambie nini huwezi sikia. That is another stage, the progression of sin. You think now you are at the peak. Now they say, let's drink deep. Let's drink deeply of love. Now they're at their peak of their enjoyment. Verse 19, my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. This is how sin plays with the mind of men. It tells you, after all, I cheated on that person because my wife was doing this. So I decided to cheat. So I decided to do this and this because my husband is like this or this is like this. You start giving that sin a beautiful name. You start sugarcoating that sin. And you think you are very safe. And when someone sees, when someone now goes deep into that sin, she starts also giving this sin also more beautiful names, like saying, after all, maybe God has brought this woman on my path because my wife is stubborn. Maybe God has brought this man. Maybe God, you start glorifying that sin. Now you put God also into your mess. You invite God now into your sin. What kind of mistake are you doing? It reaches a certain time, unaona mtu anasema nilienda kuiba sababu hivi na hivi. You give sin now. You see this man now is being lured in by my husband is not at home so that this man can feel safe. There's a progression of sin. You think you are now safe. You think you are very okay. Wewe ni mjanja. Nothing, there's no consequences. This husband has gone away. He's not coming back soon. Or I stole this because this and this and this. Even God understands my situation. You now invite God into that sin. You say, after all, maybe God brought that sin so that I can help my parents, so that I can do with that money this and this. You start glorifying that sin and giving it sweet and branding it so sweetly. So let's enjoy ourselves with love. My husband is not at home and he has gone on a long journey. He took his purse and filled it with money, and he will not be home till full moon. With persuasive words, she led him astray and seduced him with a smooth talk. Now you're progressing. Instead of going back, now that charms begin to become so strong and strong. And so all at once, he followed her. Now the mistake is almost being done. Now he follows her like an ox going to the slaughter. Only a fool is taken to a slaughterhouse while he's just laughing. Eh? Now this man is being taken to that bedroom that is full of perfume. He's smiling possibly and not knowing he's smiling while walking to the slaughterhouse. Will he survive it? He's walking on the paths that are leading to his death, and yet he's just smiling, thinking, now this is the time. That is how sin does to someone. You walk like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a nose, till an arrow pierces his liver. And when this arrow pierces your liver, can you make it? You are almost in your last moments on earth, yet you are just smiling, going to that bedroom. It's not a mass, it's just a scene of the bedroom, but you are almost on that bedroom bed. But yet you are still smiling, like an ox going to the slaughterhouse, like a bird darting into a snare, little knowing it will cost you. Little did this bird know it will cost him. Little did this man know it will cost him his dear life. Now then, my sons, listen to me. And when the Bible says, now my son, listen to me, pay attention to what I say. Kuwa magini. Do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her paths. Many are the victims she has brought down. Her slain are a mighty thorn. Her house is a highway to the grave, leading down to the chambers of death. And when I talk about this verse and this progression of sin, many people say, ule alikufia kwa loji, hiyo ni ilikuwa tu yake, mimi haiwezi nishika. Huyu alikuwa tu yake, mimi haiwezi nishika. Ule tu ni gossiper, mimi haiwezi nishika. Ule anafanya uliona vile fulani alikufia kwa dhambi, mimi haiwezi nishika. But the Bible says, do my sons pay attention to what I say. Many are the victims she has brought down. It is not only that man. Many have followed the highway to the grave through her house. It's not just that young man, that senseless man was all alone going to a slaughterhouse. Many are her victims. If you can control your temptation, you have overcome them. Pay attention so much so that these patterns that are in Proverbs chapter 7 can never play on you or near a person close to you. You have control over your temptation. Do not go on the way of sin. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verses 13, it says, no temptation has overthrown you except which is common to man. But God is faithful. He will allow you to be He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to endure, but He will make a way for you to escape. Proverbs chapter 11 verses 27, it says, evil comes to the one who searches it. So it is us who go and search for evil, and we find that evil. And God says in the Bible, He hates this feet that goes running to do evil thing. Inatembea tu kitafuta maovu. Sio vyema. Same story with Adam and Eve. They were deceived. They went to look for that thing. They knew very well the consequences. They knew very well the consequences of indulging in this. Then they proceeded to another progression of sin. Then at the end, something is being done. Consequences follows. Now, will you just lead? This is not just a seductive type of sin with an adulterous woman. Take it literally like I'm talking to you about any other sin. If you can resist it, resist so early so that it doesn't lead to the chambers of death like the end of Proverbs chapter 7. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Like this video, share to others so that they may learn this message, and subscribe to this channel. Shalom, shalom, shalom.